Hi everybody. Well, it is afternoon where we're at. We are in San Diego, and if you can see water behind us, it's because we're parked here at Fiesta Island. I'd like to welcome you and introduce my very, very good girlfriend, Ireland. I feel like we've known each other for so long, but
Forever.
It's not. Yeah, forever. But it's not even. So Ireland and I met at a gym. I don't want to name the gym because they're not giving me any money to to plug their business,
To promote.
Yes, exactly. So we met at the gym, and it was around the time when I was trying to build myself up, trying to do this whole self-care thing. And Ireland is one of those person that I noticed her right away before she even knew I was around. Because you would walk in the gym and you have this hawkish goal, like she is there. She is set to do something, and that's all she cares about. And so I did notice her. She's this amazing, gorgeous Hispanic woman, so sexy, so strong. When I say sexy, I mean she looks really fit. She still is. And there's something about your energy that when I saw you, I'm like, that is a woman I'd love to get to know. I'd love to get to know more. And how many years now, and here we are,
Right.
good friends. But anyways, Ireland speaks Spanish, so if you could please say hello in English and Spanish to the woman out there that may be listening to us.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ireland. Like my friend just said, I actually live here in San Diego. It's beautiful, as you guys can see. Look at our background here. But for all of you women out there, I just want to say hello and want to say that, whatever you want to set your mind to, you will be able to achieve. Doesn't matter what it is or how, but that's why we're here. And I truly appreciate the work my girlfriend here is doing. Buenos tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Irlanda. Estamos aquí en San Diego ahorita. Como pueden ver ustedes, el agua y todo,
Muy bonita.
en un área hermosa de San Diego.
Sí.
Y lo único que le quería decir a todas las mujeres allá, las que nos están mirando, ¿verdad? Que lo que sea que nos propongamos en la vida lo podemos lograr solamente con proponérnoslo. Lo más difícil que sea, lo podemos hacer.
Yes. So the whole purpose of this vlog is for me to find this amazing, beautiful, strong single moms. And when I met you, I didn't know you were a single mom. But I guess that's why I was so attracted to your energy, because there's something that we share before I even knew that we share it. I could already feel it. So here we are. We've talked about this vlog before I was even done with this van. I would always have this idea about this van, and somebody that I would run it by every now and then is Miss Ireland over here. I don't have an idea. Hey, I'm trying to do this, or I'm planning to do this. And of course, being a good girlfriend that she is, she's one of those people that is just super, super supportive. One thing that I'd like to share is before I was thinking of a name for the van, and I couldn't seem to come up with a name. So I stopped thinking about it. And then one time we had dinner. You want to share that story?
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny because they're like, oh, we meet every now and then to have dinner. Like maybe once every month.
Maybe.
I mean, like, we go
Sometimes.
about our business. She's very busy, I'm very busy. And we call each other, like, hey, it's time to catch up on some things, let's go and have dinner. So she takes me to this beautiful place I've never been to. What is the name of it?
Yohi.
Oh my goodness.
And it's in Coronado. And no, they're not sponsoring this video. But if you're looking for a beautiful place to go eat, it's a really, really nice place to go. And it's right by the water overseeing downtown. So anyways, go ahead.
Yes.
Sorry.
And no, I mean, I love talking to you about these things. And we were sitting down, chatting, having dinner, talking about biblical things for some reason. We were having a conversation about some things, and suddenly I see her kind of quiet, because then we're sharing certain things, that I believe in, that she believes, that I strongly have my faith will put and where it needs to be. We're sharing this, and suddenly she stops and she's like, I'm just thought of a name now that we're talking about this.
Yes, and I was mentioning to her this van. I feel like I've been working on it almost every weekend. I feel like I'm building an ark, and I'm like, I know a name for my van. I'm going to call my van Noah. So yes, this is Noah that we are in right now. And I seem to have this very selected group of friends that whenever I'm with them, I think it's the energy that they carry with them that rubs off of me, that whenever I'm with them, I seem to come up with really, really great ideas, especially things that I've been thinking about and I just couldn't seem to find an answer for. And then all of a sudden, here we are having dinner, wasn't even thinking about the van and the name, and all of a sudden, the name just kind of popped. Ireland has been very generous to say yes to me. She actually brought us dinner. I'm going to show that picture later. Or maybe in one of the videos it's going to pop. But she's a very, very healthy eater. And she prepared this delicious lunch for us. But anyway, she said yes to this. Partly because she's my friend, but mostly because just like me, we have this heightened awareness that there's a lot of single moms out there. And even though we are single moms, I never really see myself as a victim. And I think it's easy for us sometimes to feel that way, especially for women. Unlike you, you've always had a career. On my end, I had little kids when I had a divorce. And more than anything, I was really scared because I know financially, before the divorce, I was 100% relying on my ex-husband's income. And then all of a sudden, that marriage is no more. But I have 3 young kids with me, so I was really scared. I guess what I wanted to ask you right now is, how did you become a single mom?
Oh gosh, it was 18 years of marriage to begin with. How did I become single, right? Those are the kind of questions that there's really no answer for, because people go through different situations in life where one minute you could be here with your family of so long and suddenly it's gone, right? So I wasn't expecting what happened. My ex-husband's employer is his employer to affect me because I wasn't prepared to take on something like that. So that kind of explains.
So you got divorced.
So we got divorced. Yes.
Okay. And when you got divorced, I know you have 2 kids. How old were they when you guys got divorced?
It was hard. It was my daughter was going to be 15 and my son was 16 years old. So just a year apart. Almost back to back.
So once it happened, what did you find the most challenging?
The most challenging, I think it was, besides financially, because I went through a turbulence, right, where I lose my job, of a career job, because of something that happened, you know.
Okay.
And based on this whole chaos thing, then I lose my position. Then you find yourself without even gone. Your career's gone, your family's gone, your husband, your family is like, what do I do? It's more so like I didn't have time to think about it because I wasn't expecting what happened. So I think it was different for me than it probably might be for some of you women out there.
So from 2 incomes to 1 income
To
no
nothing.
income.
To no income.
What was the toughest part in the beginning when you first lost your job? Oh, and by the way, if you see smoke, it is I have a oil diffuser here. I wish you guys could smell the van. It smells so
delicious in here.
good.
I love it.
So anyways, coming from 2 jobs, like I said, to 1 job, to all of a sudden you lost your means to make money. What was the toughest part?
I guess talking to my kids about what was happening. Because as you know, teenagers, they're going through changes of their own. Yeah. And it's two teenagers, at once. And trying to make sense of something that was going on. But the worst part, or the most difficult, challenging part, was my daughter getting into a really deep depression because of what happened. And it's like trying to figure it out, how to help her with her depression and help myself in learning about that in order to help her. I think that was the toughest part for me.
Sometimes when things like that happens and then our kids suffers, we wish it's just us. It would be us experiencing that and not our kids. So on my end, I know it was really tough, but I also went to I didn't have any depression, at least I don't think I did, but one of the toughest part for me is the guilt. I felt so guilty. I didn't feel like I failed my marriage or I failed myself, but I feel like I failed my kids. Did you ever go through that experience, or did you ever felt that?
No, I think that I didn't have time, like I said, to think about anything for me or anything about me. Or yes, you kind of, when you're on your own, think about, help me, Lord, to try to figure this out, But as far as guiltiness, no. It was more so trying to be the strong, get strength from I don't know where. I mean, through Jesus, I guess. I was the only person helping me at that time to be able to pick myself up and pick my child up. Because if there's a child here, and for every woman out there that is going through a situation nowadays, it's very common that our kids fall into some type of depression or anxiety or some type of mental health, problem. It's good to know that there are many people out there that go through the same, that have gone through the same thing. And this is the reason why I say yes to my friend Christina, is because you want to reach out to as many people out there that you can, because there's people that are going through this or something similar situation. And I didn't have time. It was more so like, what can I do to, even though you're crumbling inside because you're still kind of picking up the pieces, you still have to portray like the strong superwoman, because then you have kids who they're going through their hormonal changes in adolescence, and one that is deep into depression.
Or if not that, you're just trying to protect your kids, not to show them that even though things are happening, that you're falling apart.
Yeah.
Which, in my case, I had so many nights where I would cry in private. Not so much because that relationship was over. I think by the time we were getting divorced, I was also just wanting to be out of that relationship. But I was crying because I personally felt guilty that my kids are going to grow up in a home that they would say broken home. You see, I came from the Philippines where divorce is unheard of. I didn't even know about divorce when I was young. My parents are still together. So I had so many guilt feelings, and that's one of my biggest and constant struggle. I struggle with that because I feel like I failed my kids. And also, because I was married, most of our friends are family unit, you know, with the dad, with the mom, and the kids. And one of the toughest time for me is every time we go to like parties where there's a mom and a dad and kids. Is there any situation where whatever that is, that you being separated, you being divorced, is basically almost like being highlighted? Is there any situation where that happens to you? And if that happens to you, how do you handle your situation or yourself with that?
Well, like I said, I had to think of ways on how to pick myself up, because of that experience, bad experience that we went through. I lost my position, and it was more so thinking of like, okay, what am I gonna do now? Since that's the only thing you know, and I've been doing since I can remember, right? And be able to transmit that positive energy to my children. I stay away from many things. I didn't want to go and expose, my children in their anxiety, with my daughter. It was more so like staying put where we were and trying to find ways in how to get ahead, because financially I needed to think of quick things. And I'm an interpreter now, and it was that drive that I've always had, also coming from a background of being in the world of sports, because I'm a pro athlete. So I think that my situation can be similar to other women out there that have gone through times like that in life, where you are a pro athlete, you're a very strong person, so you come and face a situation, a challenge that is your family now, and it's more so like, okay, let me find a way. I need to get it back up again, right?
Yes.
And I didn't really go through like depression or feeling guilty about me or pittiness or not, and none of that. It was more so like, think. What can you do? What are you good at? Think ways. And I was doing and studying and getting certifications out of way, whatever, and at the same time being a parent, being a psychologist, being a therapist, being a housekeeper, for my children, because now I have to be all of those things at the same time. Now there's no father role model, male role model in the home. So I had to think really fast.
I met you at the gym, just like I mentioned earlier. So early on, when this was all happening, is there anything that you started doing, or it's something that you were already doing but you kept doing it some more, as far as self-care act? Is there anything that you did that helped you? I personally had my ups and low moments, and I did a few things to help myself feel better whenever I'm feeling low. Is there anything that you started doing, or maybe you were already doing, that you did a little bit more as far as self-care to help yourself?
As far as self-care, I think that personally, first, it was more my communication with God, right, with the Lord, and my prayers and all that. But at the same time, you have to love and like what you see in the mirror. So I've always been a person that I always pay attention to. Okay, what can I do to improve, like, your waist, or like, you look at your physique, right? And also,
and you were an athlete for the longest time, so that's a part of your system.
It was always in me, and engraved in me, through my parents. My mother was my first coach, so it was always like her voice right here, always like, oh, you can do it again, and if you fall, get up and do it again. So those kind of reminders of what I went through always reminded me daily that I have to take care of myself. What I eat, how my physique looks like, it's important to me. This isn't for like anyone, but even though sometimes we want to say, oh, this isn't for anybody else, just for me, you like it when people compliment you. And they ask you for advice, like when you finally try to approach me, because she is so funny, like she can say that. She would look at me and never approach me because she thought I was like, no.
I was intimidated. I was so intimidated. I was like, look at this woman with all her muscles and how she You know, I would watch her at the gym and how she used all this equipment. I'm like, wow, she really knows what she's doing. And sometimes I watch her, and then when she leaves, I do what she's trying to do. I would mimic it. But, you know, I would like try to feel my body. Okay, like something in this muscle doesn't seem to be engaging. What am I doing wrong? I'm like, one of these days, I'm going to talk to her and ask her. I'm just going to like ask her. It took me a while, but I did.
You did, yeah.
Yes.
So, and me, like, you know me, like, I have my hoodie on, my big, huge headphones on, and I go to the gym because I'm on a timer, you know, all the time. I know this isn't like, I'm always on a timer, like, okay, I have hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever, go to the gym, and then I'm out of there. So the worst, or the last thing you want is to waste time anywhere. So if I didn't acknowledge, it's just I'm always like on my own zone.
Yes. Yes. No, I mean that is so true, and you've always taken care of yourself. And then you mentioned about, you know, your faith. One thing I learned when I was going through this, I remember reading it somewhere, I can't remember where, but it says you realize that God is all you need when He's all you've got. I like, why am I worrying about all these things for then? And just like you, I wasn't really 100% aware of it. But like I said, I would have my down moments. And at one point, I started picking up walking. My youngest was still very little, and I would put him in a stroller, and I just walk around the community where we live. And, you know, I started with just 30 minutes walk. And then I know it become like an hour. And then it got to the point where I would walk until it's almost lunch, because my two older kids, they were still little, but they would go to elementary school. After they get picked up by the bus, I'd go take my little one to go for a walk, and then sometimes we stop at the little parks. The community where we used to live, there's like different parks, and we just stop there, and I let him play, I let him do his thing, but then I walk a lot, and it transformed my body without me really thinking about it. But I did, in fact, started feeling good about myself. And, you know, the endorphin kicks in after all this time of walking.
It sure does.
Well, yeah, it's the cheapest way. I mean, why would I go to get therapy when I can walk? But, you know, I don't give therapy a bad name. I think it's very important that if you recognize you needed therapy, you should ask for one. So we're actually going to put a link. If you know somebody, or if you are experiencing mental health issues, mental health problems, please ask for help. Because I don't know if you agree, but I think it's one sign of you being very brave. Yes. Is when you know you needed help. Yes. And you ask for it. Now, a few years later, here you are. Obviously, you're thriving. You're doing wonderful. If there's somebody out there who's going through what you went through, what would you tell them as far as maybe a suggestion? What do you think they should do? Any words of wisdom based on your experience?
Yeah, I mean, based on my experiences, more so, like I mentioned, my faith it's the thing that moves my whole world, right? That kind of makes sense for me. Because, believe it or not, in situations that you see yourself in sometimes without even expecting, like in my case, God is all you got. And you have to figure a way of getting even closer and let Him guide your path, your way, because we know that it's beautiful out there. The things you could do, but the one thing I would say is faith. Get closer, and at the same time, always see yourself as a person that has a lot of quality. That you are good for many things, because we're mothers. I mean, we are therapists, we're doctors, we're nurses, we're home keepers, we're cooks, we're chefs. We're pretty much everything. So you kind of have to think on that as to take on the journey, whatever it is coming along, and always remember that there's so much and so many things you could do if you just ask God to guide you and reveal those qualities that you may not see in you. So I will always say, think of you as a tool, right? What can I do with this, or what can I do with that, with myself? And then you find yourself in a whole different place in your life that you never expected to be. Like what you mentioned, like now I have my own business, I was able to kind of listen to that voice that was guiding me through, I'll never leave your hand if you only hold on to it, and you can do this and you can do that. I was able to find internally even, because through my daughter, I was able to learn a lot more from her than she was able to learn from me. Because I was able to be more understanding, more loving, more caring. When you have a situation like that at home, it's very difficult to know what to do. Because it's your family member, and they're the ones, because you do everything for them. You guys do everything together. Versus someone that is someone you don't know.
Or to put it in a different twist, if there's anybody that we want to be policed by what we're doing, it's our kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're always watching every move.
If there's anybody, we don't like to impress people, especially when you're a single mom. Like you said, we have so many titles. Yeah. We wear so many hats. But if there's one group of people that we wanted to always approve of us, it's our kids.
Yes.
And our kids are super honest. They can be your, biggest cheerleader, but they're also like the most honest critique. When my kids were little, they tell me as it is. There's no maybe, if only, no. They call me
They call us out.
They call me out. And it's one of those big pills that it may be hard to swallow, but it's a very much needed pill anyways.
And see them changing as well, because she knows the story, but when I went through that, my son, who was 16 at the time, had to find a way and how to find work. In this, to see how selfless we can be, all the money that he will receive, he'll say, Mom, do we need to pay a bill? Mom, do we need food? So, and at the same time, seeing my daughter, seeing him become a man, because now he's the man of the house.
He almost he feel like he has to assume.
Step up to the plate and say, okay, don't worry, I got it here. I'm the male figure, I'll take.
Funny, huh? Looking back, it's so funny.
And then my daughter, it transformed in a whole different way, where I learned from her strength, because what he was going through, in the place where she fell herself into, and she still kind of battles back and forth with different things. But if I would have been a parent who made her feel sorry about herself, about what was going on, maybe I would have not learned to help her get up again.
Or if you yourself didn't model that, hey, that happened, but we keep moving forward, we keep going, then that's what they would have learned. Hey, my mom looks like she's defeated, so maybe we are defeated.
Yes.
But you keep moving forward, regardless if it's a small step. It's a small step moving forward anyways.
And we laugh about it now. Look, we remember, and sometimes when we remember things, we start laughing and kind of going back to I remember a day when there was no money at all, but I have a bag with coins, right? And I don't know how much money was in there. So we go to the store, and I said, okay, we're going to go to the 99 store, right? Coming from having career and being two career people in the home, and having pretty much many things that you never really, you take for granted. So now you're realizing, oh my God, here I am in front of the 99 store. And I asked my daughter, because she always remembers, count the coins. And I'm getting kind of funny, and then a little bossy, count the coins. And she's there trying to count the coins. And I remember we were able to buy bread and things to make sandwiches. And now we think about these things. Oh, the car. We had a Honda that was overheating in every corner. So my son actually learned everything he knows about car Carhunz's business now.
Because of that experience.
Because of that experience of like, oh, dang it, now I have to fix the radiator again. You know? But we laugh about it when you're going through it. It may not seem as funny, but now that
back then, I'm pretty sure it's not. But that's the beauty of, you know, coming out of that. Now you realize too, like you mentioned, and if I could add to it, our kids also teaches us a lot of things.
Yes.
And not only that they teaches us a lot of things, they also give us, I don't know about you guys, but for me, there were so many times when I feel like giving up, and then I look at my kids, I'm like, I can't give up. Just like you mentioned earlier, if I give up now, that's what they're going to see.
Yes.
That's what they're going to learn.
And then I guess that's the advice for all women out there. It's not about giving up. Many things may not seem or give the results maybe that you think it's going to give you. That doesn't mean you stop. You keep going, because especially like you mentioned, you looked at your little kids' faces, you know, and then you realize that you kind of have to keep moving, because you can't fail in any, and you know, I won't even use the word fail, because I don't think it's anything that we encounter is a failure. It's a challenge that we encounter.
Yes, and no, I love that you did say that. Yeah, if there's one thing we could say is, whatever it is that you're going through, just keep moving forward. And one thing I did, at least when I was going through it, is I have learned to identify the right group of people that I should be hanging out with. That was a time when I really listened to my instinct. I know who is there to help me and have my back, and I know who is there just because they want to be spectator. Whatever their concerns is or whatever they wanted to do, they're not really there because they wanted to help. But I do have a handful of people that I know they're gonna be there, they're not gonna judge me, and they're always gonna be there to support me or help me. And I think that's important for you to identify the people that you should be hanging out with. And one thing I didn't do is, I don't know why I felt this way back then, but I don't like being around people who feel bad for me. You know, back then I already feel bad about the situation. I don't need you to add to that. Identify the right group of people that you want to surround yourself with, because that makes a whole lot of difference.
I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you, but also you know that and you get to know who your true family members are and who your true friends are. Because you might think, oh, my friend or so and so, but when something like this happens in your life, it's like dominoes, they fall. And you're like, okay, what happened? I thought I could count on this or that. That's when you know. That's why I told you that from the beginning. I stepped out of my little comfort zone, right? Step away from everything and almost everyone. I only had maybe a couple of people that I will go to and talk to about things that I was in. One of them I need to be able to mention here, because Fran was a person in my life through my church. He's a therapist there, where I felt like I needed to speak to somebody, right? Even though we feel like superwoman sometimes, that we're like, we don't need anybody. We got this.
I did that, yeah.
You know, we have to be able to learn how to cope with many things. So she was, and still is to this day, that angel got sent for me to strengthen me and say, hey, you can't say that, or you have so much, that I give her God the praise and thank him for putting her, and also people like you like people that I know that I never imagined I would meet.
Exactly.
I met her at the gym, maybe I would say in some of your lowest moments, but nowhere in any of the times that her and I spoke, I've heard pettiness or you know, sure enough, we've cried together before, but at the same time, I know that she's so strong that that her energy, like people's energy, is what you get drawn to, right? And ever since I met her, I knew our relationship was going to grow from that moment on.
And I guess I'd like to add to that. Always recognize the kind of people that will see the beauty in you before you even realize it's there. And you're one of those people for me that did that. So I appreciate it, and I wanted to thank you for doing this with me. So if you think this is something that will help you, if you think this channel is something that you will benefit with or benefit from, or if you know somebody who's a single mom who feels like they're alone, well, I'm going to tell you that now, you're not alone. There's a lot of us who went through it and was able to go to the other side and did it so beautifully, so gracefully. And, you know, if you're one of those persons, please share this video. If you could benefit from this, or you know somebody, let them know about this channel. And again, I wanted to say thank you, and I hope you guys got something from this. If you have any question, if you have any comment, or if there's something that you wanted to ask either Ireland or myself, please comment. If there's a topic or question that you'd like to ask, please leave that in the comment. She and I will, you know, try to get back to that. But for now, we have to let you go because we have the rest of the snack that she prepared for us to finish, and we'd love to enjoy this beautiful weather and this beautiful place where we're parked. And so for now, we're gonna let you go, and I hope to see you guys next time. I'd like for you to say goodbye to, you know, other people who speak Spanish too.
Oh, yeah. Gracias a todos por habernos visto. Gracias a las personas que se tomaron el tiempo para mirar este programa. Esperemos que esto les sirva a muchas personas allá en sus casitas, les sirva de algo, que estén pasando por la misma, por lo mismo que nosotras pasamos, ¿verdad? Y que piensen que están solos. Nunca están solos, siempre hay alguien en que contar, especialmente Dios, pero nosotras, nuestras experiencias, es siempre estar unidos, ¿verdad? Y ayudarnos unos con otros. Gracias por estar aquí, y les deseo lo mejor, y yo sé que ella va a tener muy buen éxito en su programa. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.